ದೆಹಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗಲಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಚಿವರನ್ನ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಟೈಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಡೆಲಿಗೇಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲೂ ನಾನು ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಪ್ರತಿ ಸತಿನೂ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಕೇಳೋರು, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ನೆಂಪಿ ನೀವ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ. ಪ್ರತಿ ಸತಿ ನಾನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ನಾನಿಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿರೋದು ಒಬ್ಬ ಸಂಸದನಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಒಬ್ಬ ಕಾಫಿ ಬೆಳೆಗಾರರ ಮಗನಾಗಿ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಯಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಬರ್ತಿರೋದು ಈ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗೆ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸತಿ ಹೇಳಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಇವತ್ತು ಆ ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದನೇ ಬಂದಿರೋದು. ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಅನುಮತಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದು ಪಿಯೂಷ್ ಗೋಯಲ್ ಸಾಹೇಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಹಿಂದಿ ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದ್ 2-3 ನಿಮಿಷಗಳು ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾನು ಒಂದ್ 2-3 ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಹೈಲೈಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದಿದೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅನುಮತಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. पीयूष जी, अगर आपका 2 मिनट के लिए, हाँ, मेरा आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है. हाँ, पीयूष जी, I am not here as a member of parliament from Bengaluru, but as a fellow coffee grower. My parents and my family are coffee growers in Chikmagalur. My parents live in a small village in Vastare in Chikmagalur. We have a very small holding. And here I want to take just 2 minutes of your time to air a few of the grievances that have troubled the coffee growers from so many decades. And I think in at least our memory, Piyush ji, perhaps you are the first union cabinet minister to come to Sakleshpur in a very, very long time to come and listen to the grievances of the coffee growers. On that very count, a lot of gratitude to you. Piyush ji, there is the very first problem that coffee growers face all over the country is coffee growers have been suffering from a prejudice. And the prejudice, Piyush ji, is that coffee growers across the segment are very well-to-do people and are very amir in that sense. But the ground reality is very different. 98% of coffee growers are small farmers with extremely small holdings, including less than 5 acres. This is the reality. But the moment we go to meet anybody in the system, the prejudice is that you are a coffee grower, you are a coffee planter, you must be a very well-to-do person. So this prejudice has always worked against coffee growers. The association people will give you a PUG, you already have the details. 98% of coffee, yes, of growers are small holding. 5 ಎಕರೆಗಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರೋದು. ಈ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ರೈತರ ಧ್ವನಿಯಾಗಿ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಬೇಕು. Second, PUG, the biggest problem that many of us encounter when we go to revenue department, agriculture department, claim for subsidies other than coffee board, etc. Mohan Kumar ji mentioned about 10 HP motor being made available for free of cost for the first time for farmers. The reason why for all these years we don't have access to any of these government facilities is because coffee is considered as an industry commercial crop. And all coffee growers are treated alike. So even the Tata company owned 5,000 acre plantation is considered on the same footing as a 5 acre coffee or a plantation. So most of us coffee planters with 5 acres, 10 acres, 15 acres, we do not get any subsidies, any facilities that similar landholding farmers get if they are doing any other crops. So my request to you, Piyush ji, is we have consulted with other legal experts and with coffee growers elsewhere also. If a ceiling limit can be put on the holding of land and a differentiation can be made in terms of treatment for company holdings and small holdings below say 15 acres, 10 acres, etc., then this equal treatment of unequals will stop. And a lot of small growers will start getting access to a lot of facilities. This is one simple thing. The other request, Piyush ji, is I was speaking to the CEO of Coffee Board a few days ago. The Coffee Board 2024 and 2025, this year, the subsidy fund allocation is 95 crores. Till today, Coffee Board has received 21,000 applications, the financial implication of which is close to 198 crores. My request to you on behalf of all the coffee growers, especially the small farmers, the small holding ones, because they are the ones who actually take these subsidies, is this subsidy fund allocation has to be increased to meet the 21,000 applications that we have got. At least another 100 crores that needs to be done. This is our sincere request. The third request is, there are many boards that we have made, Piyushji, tea board, spices board, coffee board, etc. It is a common experience of all of us growers that the chairman of the coffee board is a political appointee, and in all cases he is one of the growers. He understands the problems of the growers much better. But under the existing setup, I was explaining this to Kumaraswamy and also, the chairman of the coffee board has no powers at all. He is only an ornamental post. But he is the real representative of the farmers. And I am telling you with a lot of humility, Piyushji, and this is a legacy problem. The bureaucrats or IAS officers who we appoint as CEOs or directors to the board, they hardly come to the farmers, field, etc. They are always in offices, AC offices. They do not understand our problem at all. But the ones who are supposed to answer our problems, the chairman, they hardly have any powers. So ನನ್ನ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರೋದು ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಯಾರು ಕಾಫಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ನ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ IAS ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರು IAC ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಕೂತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಫಿ ಬೆಳೆಗಾರರ ಮಧ್ಯದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರುವಂತ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ ಯಾರಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೂ CEO ಹತ್ರ ಕಾರ್ಯ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಇದು ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ವಾಸ್ತವ ಇದೆ. So Piyushji, if some structural reforms can be made so that the coffee board chairman, who is actually a representative of the farmers, if he can be more empowered, then a lot of there will be a person to hear the problems of the common growers. The last and the final point I want to make, Piyushji, you are also the minister for industry, and you have done exceptional work in pushing Startup India. One acute problem that coffee growers are facing, it was mentioned earlier, is the lack of labor. And coffee is a labor-intensive crop, Piyushji. And it is, you get harvest once a year, but the work for it happens 365 days a year. And it is a labor-intensive crop. And these days, we are finding a lot of problem to find cheap labor, and there is also social implication that is happening in this regard. Piyushji, this is a very serious issue. Most of us do not want to engage labor who come from Assam, who claim to be from Assam, but in most cases are from Bangladesh. But unfortunately, in most of our coffee estates today, we are forced to engage. We know that these are not having proper documents, etc. They come from Bangladesh. They are illegal immigrants. But our coffee growers are today in an unfortunate position where they are engaging those services. The only way to go forward is mechanization. If a fund can be established, Piyushji, if a dedicated fund can be established, either through DPIIT or through Startup India or through the coffee board, to fund and incubate startups that will work in building mechanizing solutions for coffee estates, it will be a game changer for coffee growers, and that is going to help coffee growers a lot in the coming years. My final and submission to you, Piyushji, is with respect to the elephant problem that was highlighted to you. This is an environmental problem, and I will say that with a lot of respect to all the coffee growers here, that we are also a part of the problem, because in 90% of the cases, it is the coffee growers who have encroached the elephant territory corridors, and as a result, the elephants are taking the elephant corridors. And like you know, elephants cross the same corridors over multiple generations. One solution that we are trying to do in different parts of Karnataka and some in Assam also, Piyushji, is a study is being made through drones to understand the historic pattern of elephant movement. And those areas are being cleared out. Most of 99% of coffee growers here are ready to give back the lands which have been encroached in the elephant corridor. We will give it back to the government if the government can actually make that to be an elephant corridor. Because it is not only loss of crops, it is also loss of life. So if some effort can be made with the coffee board taking the lead to identify the the elephant corridor that overlaps the coffee plantation, some compensation can be given to the farmers or the coffee growers in those areas, and maybe a permanent solution to this can be considered, Piyushji. These are the only submissions I had. I once again thank you. And ಇವತ್ತು ಪಿಯೂಷ್ ಗೋಯಲ್ ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಕರೆಸಿರುವಂತದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಮಾರಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಸಾಹೇಬರು. ನಾನು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪಿಯೂಷ್ ಜಿ, again, at least in the last 15-20 years I am aware, because we have all in the same family, I don't think a cabinet minister has ever come. In 40 years, I don't see a cabinet minister who has come here on the ground to listen to the problems of the coffee growers. We are extremely grateful for this gesture of yours, and we hope that all of these legacy problems will be addressed. Thank you. ಕ್ಷಮಿಸಿ, ಇವತ್ತು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತನಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನ ಸಂಕ್ಷಿಪ್ತವಾಗಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್, ನಿರ್ಭೀತಿಯಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪರವಾಗಿ.